try it at all. It's a lie. It's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way. Marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie. It's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way. Marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. A lot of people think that marijuana isn't dangerous, but they're wrong. Because not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh.
Oh, okay, there was a little lag there. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. It is March 30th, Sunday, March 30th. We're getting ready to be on the cusp of April Fool's Day, April, and from what I understand, um, April is going to be a big turnaround month for many, many people. And it's not just a feeling I have, but it's sort of in the air. And I don't know if any of you pay any kind of a tribute to astrology or tarot. I happen to have a good deal of respect for both of those systems of prediction, speculation. Yeah, but the astrologers and the tarot folks are saying that this is going to be a good month. It's going to be like your vistas are going to suddenly open up. Things are going to get better. And I'll tell you, I'm certainly ready for that. Um, but sort of symbolically in my life, you guys know about my sewage flood. I complained and whined about that for what, a couple of weeks now. I just had to make the decision to ditch the sewage soaked items that were in my bathtub. Um, I s- um, I did an anonymous query to our local health department for one thing, and they said, uh, get rid of it. It's toxic. It's, you know, all the bad things that are in a sewer, it's in there, and don't touch it. Don't try to clean it. And then my commercial laundry says, no way. I checked on two commercial laundries that actually management here at my apartment were willing to pay for because dang, 2 days of flooding, 2 days of the sewage. Yeah. Phew, phew, phew. So I ditched them all. Um, I had enough wits about me to itemize most of the things because I knew what was in there because it was most of my favorite stuff. I wear all my favorite stuff first, and, as a consequence, all my favorite stuff that was in my laundry basket got dumped in my hallway to keep the sewage from flooding my apartment. So, it soaked it up really good. It only came as far as my little hallway runner, and I'm not throwing that out. I disinfected it. All- But anyway, yesterday the couple of guys or a guy came in 2 trips. It took him 2 trips, and this was like a strong guy. He's a maintenance guy. He's got to have muscle. So it took him 2 trips because he couldn't lift it all in one bag. And those big old black industrial lawn bags. Yeah, twice. Um, yeah, what a relief. What a relief. So yesterday, I spent most of the day yesterday sanitizing, wiping, sanitizing, spraying, scrubbing, chipping at things that were stuck. Oh, yeah. So anyway, so that felt amazing. Okay, it's only things. Lord knows I had in my little apartment 2 closets. I have had a lot of clothes, a lot of clothes, because I worked, so I have clothing left. I have socks and undies but dang, I don't know if you guys know who the artist Laurel Bush is. Laurel Birch. Sorry, Laurel. A late artist. She was wonderful, and she had these iconic cat and horse paintings, and they were vibrant and all my favorite colors. And so I have had a collection. I even have her makeup bag. I have a Laurel Birch makeup bag. I had her socks. And every time I went on vacation, there was this little shop on Main Street that carried Laurel Birch socks. So every time I went on vacation, I would get 1 or 2 pair. Oh gosh, horses and cats and vibrant colored socks, all these bizarre colors. And yeah, most of my Laurel Birch socks are gone. But I, once again, it's only things. It's only things. And I feel lighter. Um, yeah, feels good. So anyway, next month, you guys, be ready for things to get better. And I think it's going to be universal. Um, I- if there's a Taurus listening, you're, Tau- and I listened to it yesterday, the Taurus reading. No, I listened to it this morning really early. Tauruses are going to have a breakthrough. They're going to have experience acceptance and understanding it. So it's going to be a big deal for Taurus folks. Um, yeah, so heads up with that. Uh, re- remember what I say at this moment and see if it's true because that's what I've been hearing down the pipeline of the astrology and tarot folks. So okay, over to the chat. I'm going to go over to the chat. I'm going to look over in the chat. Oh my gosh, it says that I have 15 comments. Let's start up at the top. John aside, first up. Yay, John, upholding your fine record of always being first up, almost always. Couple times you've missed, but not often. Okay, John. John, you got that new puppy. I saw the picture. What a baby doll. What a sweetheart. That baby is going to have such a good life because you guys are such good dog parents. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Oh, I'm having this vicarious dog ownership. I have a grand dog that I am just so pleased with and so proud of, and I love her so much. And Yeah, and we've bonded really. We're really tight, my grand dog and I, but she lives 100 miles away, so I don't get to see her often. But John aside, congratulations to you guys. Bless your heart. That's wonderful. God, I'm so excited for you. Prairie Queen was next up. Hi, Prairie Queen. Hopefully, Prairie Queen has told me that she's going to get her internet sorted out tomorrow, I think you said, Prairie Queen. Um, yeah, okay. So if anybody's saying anything right now that I'm not, I'm starting at the beginning of the chat, so I'm addressing that first. So we'll just catch up as we go. Um, okay, John Walkley. Hey, John Walkley. John. Your quizzes are just so on point with, having a good time. I I try my best on those quizzes, but if when it comes to like numbers and those, okay, your alligator puzzle, I just passed right on by it because that made my brain hurt. So I didn't answer that question at all. I didn't even venture a guess. Sometimes I guess. Sometimes I copy other people's answers. But John says that that's fair. You can even be wrong and get a point. You know, you can answer a couple times. I don't know if you get points for every time you answer. If you like answer one question like with three or four responses, I don't know how he has that. But the quiz is great, John. Thank you so much. I think I got the big score, the last one. And woo, that was cool. But I it gets me with the numbers. If there's math, because I have this what dyscalculia, numeralexia, d- dys dysnumerally. I'm deficient. I'm just I don't know. But anyway, yeah. And I've told the story that in order to graduate high school, I had to take freshman math to get because I was lacking a math class because I'm a bonehead. I'm a knucklehead. So, but anyway, so I skipped the math problems. Yeah, the picture ones are good. Yeah, and you guys, this quiz that John Walkley puts on Facebook has varied the topics of the questions, and it's so fun and yeah, gives your brain some exercise. Except the numbers, that one doesn't exercise my brain. That puts my a numbness sets in. Okay, so I am scrolling down. Everybody's greeting each other. Okay, Eileen Ebony, our Glasgow pal. Yeah, thanks for being here, Eileen. Eileen has, okay, Eileen has these two cats, uh, Ellie and Chaz, and Ellie is big. She and Eileen says that the vet told her that she needed to lose weight. And I said, bullshit. I think fat cats are wonderful, and I don't know if it shortens their life. I suspect it does, but I love seeing a big, fluffy, meaty, fat, giant cat. I think they're they're my favorites. You know, fat cat. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to scroll down some more, scrolling down some more. Okay, okay. I'm scrolling down some more. I'm scrolling down some more. Okay. Okay, so John Walkley says three-step plan for dealing with a crisis. Find a sunny spot. Two, drink vodka. Three, repeat. Step repeat step two as required. Boy, it's been a long time since I've had vodka. It's been a long time since I've had any spirits. When did I last have a spirit? I think it was a few months ago. My neighbor and I were out. She took me out to lunch, and we had a Mexican coffee. Yeah, that was the last time I drank, and you guys all know I used to do it daily. Yeah, boy, yeah, I especially anesthetized myself after my job ended and my boss died. Yeah, yeah. It's like you subconsciously, I wanna go too, I'm ready to check out. It's that self-destructive crap that I got into. Wasn't the first time, um, but phew, for some reason, something pulls you out of it, whether it be your good sense and finally waking up or growing up. Um, yeah. So, oh yeah, John. Yeah, I did win the quiz last week. I won the quiz last week, and and I Google, and it's okay with John if you Google, just so you participate. Participation is, that's the key thing is just get it, jump in there and do it, even if you guess wrong or, it's just jolly good fun. Okay, so, okay, John Walkley says, oh yeah, John says people were amazed at your success. Well, I know because I'm a dumbhead. You know, I, I just jump in whether I can do it or not. But then sometimes I don't do it at all. Sometimes I just, I'm not in the proper headspace to participate in anything, like life. Uh, I know they were amazed, bless their hearts. Yay, there's the dumbhead winning a quiz. Holy shit, that was great. Okay, and John also says the top five most trusted people in America are actors. Top of the list is Tom Hanks, followed by Sandra Bullock. No kidding. Well, they have opinions for sure. That mm, that kind of tracks, John. Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock. Yeah. Okay, Eileen Ebony regarding cat weight, regarding fat cats. She says they're both 14 pounds. Oh, your Whitey was 25? Oh my God, that's magnificent. Wait, both of your cats are 14 pounds, but I guess because Ellie has all that beautiful fluffy fur, she looks bigger. She looks very round. Yeah, she looks very round. If she closes her eyes and tucks in her tail, she would look like a luxurious fluffy sofa pillow. Big fluffy sofa pillow. She's just glorious. And they're so pretty. They're so pretty. Gosh. The more I talk about you guys and your pets, the more I dearly want one again. But, I do have my grand dog, and I do have to consider that another mouth to feed would, you know, not be practical. And a cat, there's the litter and the food. And, I spoil animals. And so it just would not be economically feasible at all for me. However, there are local places that will let you have a cat to foster, and they provide everything. You know, idyllic, you would think, but then I have, family members who are really, really allergic to cats, And I might not see them very often, but when I do, I really can't see them, covered in with cat essence or, you know, cat energy. Or whatever. 14-pound cats, both of them are pretty good size. Yeah, John Walkley says, dogs teach us how to live in the moment. Cats teach us to remember our place in the world. True, true, huh? Oh, Eileen says Ellie looks a lot bigger. Chaz is muscly. Yeah, the man. Chaz is the man. Yeah. John says Ellie looks like she's wearing a fur coat. Yeah, she really does. Yeah. So I wasn't really prepared today to talk about anything except, the announcement that my laundry is out of here. And, but after I get off here, I think I'm going to go in and assess all the clothes I have left. Um, you know, but saving me is I do have another basket of laundry to be sent off to the laundromat when payday comes. So I do have a bag of laundry. I don't know what's in there, but I'm gonna try to inventory all the things that I have hanging, things in my drawers. I might have a pair or two of Laurel Birch socks. Uh, oh, here's what I did. Here's what I did. Since, the management company agreed to pay for the commercial cleaning of my clothing, and then the health department tells me, "Mm, uh, no, it has to be disposed of quickly and safely." And then the professional laundries on their websites say nothing with blood, hair, feces, or any of that. Yeah, so anyway, what I did was I itemized some things that I remember and that I could see, and I would like try to lift up items in the tub to see what was under there. And so I listed, this many pairs of Arizona jeans, this many pair of Levi's, this number of branded sweatshirts, button-down shirts. Uh, I didn't even claim my t-shirts. Oh, damn, although I should. Nah, I didn't. It's a done deal. Many pairs of socks, many sets of underwears, sets of pajamas. So I listed this, and um, the value of my clothing is like mid level branding. Isn't It wasn't expensive stuff, but it was substantial. It was somewhere between Temu and Robinsons. Arizona jeans, Levi jeans, the- you know, branded shit. And they were, so I figured retail replacement value would be well over $1,000. Okay. I mean, this was a lot of clothes. It didn't look like many soaking in my bathtub, but fluff it out. It was a lot of, upward of 1,000. So I wrote to them and itemized I said, for $300, I will sign off on this and we'll call it square. They haven't answered me. And I also asked to not have a rent credit like they gave me for the original cost of my uh, to do laundry. I wanted that. And I have not heard from them. Of course, I sent it early Saturday morning. Uh, how early? 2 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep, so I got up and I typed them up a letter and sent it off. And so haven't heard from them, but it's Sunday, so we'll see what they have to say tomorrow. And the rent credit has not shown up on my resident payment portal online. My rent credit hasn't shown up. But I'm going to wait till tomorrow to pay my rent. I might even wait till the first, just to see if I'm paying less. So we'll see. We'll see if it gets into their website. But anyway, I've asked for money and I've asked it in the form of a check because dang, I would really like to get a couple of towels because I'm down to one bath towel. No, two bath towels. I had a dozen. So I'm down to two bath towels, um, no bath rugs. Uh, but anyway, I'd like to get a couple towels. Yeah, yeah. So that would, yeah. Okay, so I'm looking over at the chat again. John Walkley says, "There's no excuse for being killed by a shark. You just get out of the water when you hear the music." Dong 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 dong. Yeah, remember that? Hmm. Oh, Eileen, you have a Jaws sweatshirt, really? Well, I had sweatshirts from my vacations. I always went to the Central Coast here in California at sweet little place called Cambria. And I had sweatshirts from Cambria. I had T-shirts from Cambria. My favorite place in the world, and that's where I bought my Laurel Birch socks too. Um, okay, Prairie Queen, your big boy is 11 pounds or 11 years? 11 pounds or 11 years? If he's 11 pounds, that's a little. No, that's a medium-sized cat. Huh? Okay, John Walkley poses a question. Why do scuba divers always fall backward off their boats into the water? Oh, your baby's 11 pounds, Prairie Queen. Oh, wish I, I've even thought of like getting a fish, you know? But then there's all that goes. I've had a couple of fish tanks before, and you've got to get all the stuff for the fish tank. The tank, the stand, the gravel, the planty things, the pump, the filter, and the fish. So why? And every once in a while, I start thinking, okay, what could I have? What could I have here? A gerbil? No, because they need food too. Uh, yeah, an air plant. I suppose I could get an air plant. Yeah, that's about it. I do have this really nice little pothos in my front window. Well, it's on a stand in front of the front window, and it's doing beautifully. I got these little Timu trellises because if you take a pothos and um, pin it up, if you stake it up, it, because they like to be stretched up vertically, and that makes them go, whoopee, I'm taller. And so then they start making bigger leaves and facing toward the light, and they just keep getting taller and taller. I have one, two, three. I believe it's three little plastic trellises in this pot now. And, I had to add the third one because it was getting taller. And these will just go crazy. And this is the kind of pothos that where when they get really big, the leaves start to split, and so that it not into lobes necessarily, but yeah. So I'm just going to keep going with this. I'm looking at it now, and when I first got it, it it was shorter than the lamp that's on the table it's sitting on. Now it's probably 6 inches above the top of the lamp going up this trellis, and I'm so happy. And I did read something the other day, and I sort of knew this anyway because of the way gardening makes me feel. But you have this relationship with your plants. I don't know if anybody gets that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. You can feel. Okay, that sounds nuts, but you can feel the relationship you have with your plants. Okay, I said it. But I read where plants feel your absence when you're gone. And they did I don't know what they did. What was it, like a sonar thing or what? Something they registered the energy of the plant when their owner or their roommate is gone. And then the difference when they come back, it's like there's an excitement in the plant or there's an energy in the plant that responds to its owner being back. Isn't that just the greatest thing? I think that's great. Um, yeah, so it's nice to know that the way I feel about plants is reciprocated. Isn't that just the best thing? That just tickles me to no end. That, we, and, trees, for heaven's sake. Yeah, trees. Geez, hug a tree, you guys. Uh, and, you can get this feeling from hugging a tree, any kind of a tree. Just maple trees are probably, from what I've heard, the most magical uh, for your well-being. But just hug trees feels really good. Feels really good. Hug trees and then go have a Manhattan. Or yeah. Every once in a while, I think about, boy, uh, what what was my favorite beverage? My favorite alcoholic beverage was a rum and coke. Yeah, and I'd have a rum and coke with two lime wedges. That was my drink, rum and coke. Yeah, and then my bartender friend, Marianne, if you're watching, you'll always be my favorite bartender. Um, and she's also a writer, producer, director. But in LA, if you've got a job in the business of show, uh, y- you've always have to have a steady income. You've always got to support yourself. So anyway, Marianne introduced me to a martini. Never had one before. Martini. And uh, dirty martinis. So, so I thought I'm going to make this at home. Many, many, many years later, it was when I moved in here at first, and when I was still actively drinking. I got all the stuff, and I asked Marianne how to make a dirty martini, and she talked me through it. And oh my God, I and as I was going down and these are I can't remember vodka martinis. She made me a gin martini, and that was a little. Mm. So I was making vodka martinis, and so it was half olive juice and half vodka, and then a couple of big old stuffed olives in it. So what I was drinking was mainly sodium with a little vodka. But God, that I remember that being pretty tasty. But and one will do you. You know, Lordy, now that I'm so old and I've turned my liver into Swiss cheese, um, when I had that Mexican coffee with my neighbor, and we came home and I went right to bed. So, yeah, not good. Yeah. And then the next day you have many trips to the loo, so it's not worth it. Not even worth it. That few minutes of feeling on top of the world, phew, doesn't last long. And, yeah, and there's no way to sustain it because that would be consuming more. And no, 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 no. Um, yeah. So anyway, okay, so I'm looking back on over on the chat. Um, okay, I'm looking at the chat. Sorry for the. Okay, so John Walkley. Oh, in answer to the scuba diver question, why do scuba divers go into the water backward off a boat? And his answer is because if the scuba, if the scuba, if if they fell forward, they'd still be in the boat. John, you are too pragmatic and sensible for words. Yeah, still be in the boat. So what's the point? But if they, but if they faced the water forward, I think going into the water like that, they need to lead with their tank. If they led with their face, that tank is heavy till it gets in the water. So yeah, I don't think that would be practical. Yeah, but that's John, you're so funny. Ah. Yeah, Eileen Ebony says I was about to say they would bash their head, bang their head. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So Eileen Ebony plays played Bob Marley to her plants. Yeah, one love, mon. Bruh, one love. I love reggae. I love reggae. It is just so, you know, makes you makes you chair dance. Yeah, I love reggae. Bob Marley. Bob Marley rocks. Okay, Eileen says Eileen got white lavender plug plants to start the moon garden. White lavender. I don't think I've ever heard of white lavender. And lavender is like my favorite favorite. I've never heard of a white lavender. My daughter and I used to go to the lavender festival here. in California. We went a few times. It was an annual thing, and it was lovely. We'd get a room right there on the grounds and go to the lavender festival, and we'd see them making lavender oil and lavender essence. They'd have this big kettle and you could come by and get a few strands of or stalks of lavender off his pile that he was putting in the processing unit. So that was just so cool. White lavender. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, Prairie Queen, it is living energy with your plants. Everything has energy. Yeah. Plants like Bob Marley. Oh, plants like Bob Marley. They relate. Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay, okay. John Walkley says the Queen Mum had gin martini every night. Really? Maybe someday in the future for my one drink every, few months. I don't know if I ever. I think I might try gin again. I don't know. Yeah. I also used to love, I still have a fondness, although I can't really do it unless I'm sitting on the edge of my bed. A, a, a margarita, a blended margarita, salt on the edge of the glass, and a sidecar, a Cadillac margarita. Usually get like a plain margarita, and then you have this, I think it's a Courvoisier sidecar, and you pour it in your margarita and stir it up, and that gives it an extra supercharge. The last one I had was last year before things got bleak, and yeah, I had yeah, came home, went right to bed. So this has been going on a while. Okay, so Martini Bianca is the best. Martini Bianco. Martini Bianco. What's a Martini Bianco? Never heard of that. Oh, yeah. Every success on your moon garden, Eileen, I don't quite know what that is, but I'm going to find out through you. A Prairie Queen also obviously knows what it is. I don't know what a moon garden is, but Lordy, I want to know. And I've discovered, well, I've been at this place almost 12 years, and they're called garden apartments. Although they ripped out all of our old sage plants, the decor, and all of our lavender plants. We had lavender plant, but when the new owners came in, they re-landscaped and put in strictly ornamentals. They're dull, boring, very tidy. They look good in pictures, but those old plants, I grieved when big bushes in front of my place, in front of everybody's places. The lavender plants and the sage, and I would go out and pick sage. You know, rosemary plants as well. We had ancient, 20, 30-year-old rosemary plants, bushes. And I used to clip the rosemary when I made a chicken. But anyway, out my back, y- out my back, out my arse, out my back door, um, surrounding my fig tree is just some of these like daylilies, calla lilies, naked lady. Anyway, but there's a lot of bare dirt, you know? So, when I ever get a little ahead, I'm gonna buy a bunch of bulbs and stick them in the ground out there because it's just bare dirt, and the gardener guys come by with their mowers and blowers and clippers and noisy, irritating things, and they just, blow the leaves off, and it's just bare dirt with an occasional plant all around the fig tree that's outside my dining room. Um, so that's my mission is to, and okay, the amaryllis I had. Remember my Antonia, my amaryllis that my daughter got me for my birthday? She was glorious. She bloomed and then the blooms faded. And I looked up how to care for an amaryllis bulb after it blooms. So it says, you peel off the wax and trim it at the top and then just, I guess you can just stick it in soil. Just stick it in soil and forget about it. Go away. And then, however, I think I cut too much off the top. Sad. I think I cut too much off the top. I got too aggressive. I think you're only supposed to cut off the stems just as they're entering the bulb, but I cut a little further than that. So I stuck it outside in this big empty planter that my neighbor and I have out there. Well, it's her planter. It's like this bathtub on a stand, except it's a small, narrow bathtub. And I do think it was meant to be a baby bathtub. It's porcelain. She has a lot of old stuff, a lot of French-inspired stuff. But anyway, she filled it with soil and uh, the plants she planted. But then we had these hot days, and her plants died, so now it's empty. So I stuck my bulb, my Antonia amaryllis bulb in there, and I keep going out there, and I squeeze, and I'm, is it getting mushy? Because if it's getting mushy, it's gone. Yeah, but I'm not willing to give up on her. So we'll see. Well, if a sprout comes out of that bulb that I cut badly, I will take a picture and I'll show you guys. I'll post it on Facebook, and I will consider that a miracle because I think I cut too much off. I wasn't supposed to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. From what I understand, once it starts making shoots, you can take your bulb and dip it into after, you put it in water, you soak it a little bit, get the little teeny roots soaked. You can dip it in warm paraffin and let it, and then that makes that shell like it had when I got it. And you never have to water it. I never had to water that amaryllis. It just grew those glorious blooms on 2 stalks with me not giving it a drop of water. I got it. That's amazing. But if I so I'm gonna try to do that. And if it doesn't work, hopefully somebody will get me another bulb for my birthday. Maybe. And then maybe I'll do better. You know? Hoping I do better. Okay, so I'm scrolling. Anybody else? Oh, here's another thing. Here's another thing about Eileen's life. Kingpin has returned. You guys all are familiar with Kingpin? Her pet gull, her seagull that is tagged, and she can track him. And he was like, what was he? A bit late this time, and I asked her if she was worried that he was late because he's usually on the money every time he comes back. And she says, "Now, one year he didn't even show up at all." And oh my God. So anyway, Kingpin is back. I guess he walks right into her house, and God, I love that. I love everything about that. Y- A seagull walks into Eileen's house. She feeds him. Isn't that the greatest? Yeah, yeah. uh, Um, okay, so okay. Prairie Queen. Prairie Queen up there in Canada says that she still has a lot of snow and she's itching to garden again. I hear you. God, I miss gardening. I miss the smell of the soil. I miss the sun on the back of your neck, and seeing little bees buzzing around and maybe seeing, friendly ladybugs and praying manti. God, yeah. I hear you, Prairie Queen. You're itching to garden. And Eileen, for her, it's spring in Glasgow. Ah, God. Yeah, it's spring here, although today it says this morning it said it was partly cloudy. Yesterday it said it was partly sunny. I don't understand the difference. I've said that before. What's the difference between partly cloudy and partly sunny? I don't care. Nobody needs to explain it. John, you don't need to explain it to me. But right now, in Southern California, it is 58 degrees and cloudy. Okay, so now it's officially cloudy, none of that partial stuff. Okay, it's 58 degrees and cloudy. Are we due for rain? Okay, here I am checking my weather report. Let's just see. Full forecast. What does it say? It's going to rain tomorrow. Okay. I see my little icon in the weather report that has a cloud with a little drop coming out of it, but only tomorrow. It won't be raining Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. I think that's going to be the last of our rain. Although they talk about April showers, you know, bringing Mayflowers. Okay, so I'm going over to the chat again because okay, another query yet from John Walkley. God, I love you. How can you tell what kind of bear is chasing you? The answer is if you climb a tree and the bear follows you, it's a black bear. If you climb a tree and the bear shakes you out of the tree, it's a brown bear. If you can't find a tree, it's a polar bear. John, you gotta love this guy, people. John, for one thing, John is very bright, and very clever and very loving. And he's also very generous. He's a good dad and he's a good grandpa. Uh, you know, all tied up into one neat package. John, meet Eileen. Eileen, meet John. Why don't you guys get married? I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Okay, John says KP is so good. Oh, Eileen says she saw his yellow feet through the cat flap. His little flappy feet. I love their little flappy feet. When they hover. But I live. The beach is like a few miles away from me. Well, what I guess the beach is like directly west, 14 miles away from me. But I've been around lots of seagulls, and when they like vroom, 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 with their wings coming in to take your French fry or what, their little flappy feet are dangling. Their little soft flappy feet. Yeah, yeah. I had a goose, a pet goose, a while back, years ago. I had a blue-eyed Emden goose, and I named her Elizabeth, and we were bonded. What do you call it? She patterned me. What do you call that when you, anyway, she was, because I raised her from a hatchling, uh, Elizabeth, and and she had these flappy feet, and she'd come and sit on my lap. And when she was real little, she was kept her in the house, with the light bulb in the warm box, and she would peep 3 times. She would go peep, 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 and that was her noise. Three peeps over and over, 3 peeps, and she'd follow me everywhere. God, she was just the sweetest thing. Yeah, Elizabeth. Yeah, she was great. I had to give her away though. So okay, so Prairie Queen says your weather person must be bipolar, partly cloudy, cup half empty, partly sunny, cup half. Right? Yeah. Okay, Jonicide's driving and listening. God, don't fall asleep because this is the world's most boring show. Unless I have guests. Okay, you guys, next week, next Sunday, I would love to get a panel together because I don't like doing it solo anymore. Yeah. If somebody wants to like co-host with me, we'll decide on a topic or a non-topic. Um, so yeah, I would like to have a little squad next Sunday, and maybe we'll do some jiggy clips. I don't know. Now that I know how to do tabs and share screen and stuff, we could do that. or we could do something else. Anyway, um, so that's the plan, and I'm gonna do the announcement early, and I'll probably do the announcement on Wednesday to say, hey, come join, talk some trash, talk about whatever you want to talk about. Um, yeah. So okay, I am looking over in oh my God, Eileen Eileen just sent me a Facebook direct message, and it's this guy holding a duck, and the duck he's holding the duck over a conga drum, and the duck is beating the conga drum. It says drum roll, please. Ah, it's cute. Yeah. So, anyway, so I'm scrolling down. I think that's okay. She's Prairie Queen. Moon. Okay, so Eileen says, okay, moon gardens are white flowers that glow by moonlight for stoners. How perfect. Okay, moon. You know what else does well in the moonlight? They're called cirrus plants. It's a succulent. People call it a cactus, but it's not a cactus. It's a succulent. It's called a cirrus. It can get huge, and they bloom at night. These enormous white flowers that really do glow in the moonlight, and they're pollinated by bats. Is that the greatest? Yeah, I've had a few Ceres plants. One of them I decorated with Christmas lights, solar Christmas lights, and the blooms were just stunning. Um, yeah, and you can take like a hunk off a Ceres cactus. Like if somebody trims their, I see, I called it a cactus. Slap. Um, you can take like just a hunk, let it scar over, um, and that means let the cut end get dry, and then just stick it in soil, and you'll have a new plant. You know, God, plants are so cool. Growing your own food is cool. Um, God, I'm gonna grow a tomato in a pot. I have all these plans. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so white flowers is a moon garden. Yeah, John, Canada has real seasons. I love that. Some parts of the US has all four seasons. You know, here in where I live, no, we have two and a little bit, two seasons. We have hot and cold and fire. Well, fire, we have fire season. Earthquake, well, earthquake is like year round. Uh, it's it it's not season peculiar. Oh, okay, the word was imprinted. Elizabeth, my Elizabeth, the blue-eyed Emden goose. She was imprinted. Yeah, but anyway, she was, yeah. Okay, so hands yellow, heart red. Hands yellow, heart red. Okay, that's cryptic. Okay, so I'm way back in the chat. Yeah, so I'm scrolling. Okay, Prairie Queen. Okay, Prairie Queen. Prairie Queen says, I have a riddle that I want to dedicate to John. Okay, John and Prairie Queen, you guys have to hook up. Prairie Queen is not her Facebook name, just like Robin isn't my Facebook name. But I hope you friend her. I've been, you know, I think she would love your quizzes. But anyway, I hope you guys make friends on Facebook. Not telling you what to do. Okay, so, okay, Prairie Queen says, and this is for John, two sheep are in front of a sheep. Two sheep are behind a sheep. How many sheep total? Two sheep are in front of a sheep. Two sheep are behind a sheep. How many sheep total? Well, of course, the first thing I want to say is 5. I want to say 5. Wait, what? 3? John got the right answer. Suck up, brown noser, getting the answer right. 3. Okay, 2 sheep are in front of a sheep. I'm doing this with my fingers. 2 sheep are in front of a sheep. Oh, you didn't say 2 more sheep. Is that the key to it? You didn't say 2 sheep are in front of a sheep, 2 more sheep are behind a sheep. So if you say 2 sheep are in front of a sheep, and then 2 sheep are behind a sheep, I still get 5. See why I can't do the math questions, John? There's your example right there. It 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 seems like 5 to me. I 2 sheep are in front of a sheep. 2 sheep are behind a sheep. How many sheep total? Do you add up those 2 sentences? The 2 sheep plus 1 in that sentence, and then the 2 sheep plus 1 in that sentence? That comes to 6. Did I just make my own rabbit hole? 2 sheep are in front of a sheep. 2 sheep are behind a sheep. And if you separate those 2 and add them together, that makes 6 sheep. But if you do it in my dumbass way, it's 5 sheep. But the correct answer is 3 sheep. I can't make it make sense. I can't. I can't. Kill me now. No. 2 sheep in front of a sheep. Okay, I have to stop thinking about that. Excuse me, I have to cough. Sorry, I probably didn't cover that well. Two- Okay, I have to stop thinking about that. I have to. God. Um, okay, so my neighbor upstairs, you know, I told you, I found out his name is Stephen, um, and I know he can hear. m- Over the years, I've suspected that I'm not even going to tell you that because that's really going to make me sound crazy. Well, I already do sound crazy, but I hear him like sort of walking around here and there above me. So, um, yeah, I can hear him. So he's probably wondering who the hell I'm talking to. But then I do this all the time. You know that? Oh, Eileen, when you and I did um, Now and Cobes, remember when you and I were doing them for Halloween? I think it was Halloween. Yeah. And I was yelling like now in my bathroom. I had my window open, and um, I'm just I'm wondering now because I'm real quiet. I'm this quiet old lady here. I don't even have a television on. I don't play music anymore, even though I have this great stereo system. How many, how often do you hear that phrase anymore? Stereo system. I've got the equalizer on there and the big speakers, and I've got a CD changer. It even plays cassettes. Yeah, yeah, I don't, and boy, I have loved to boom Annie Lennox, Paula Cole, um, yeah, soundtracks. Oh, the soundtrack from Chicago. Oh God, I might do that. While it's still daytime, I'm gonna play the soundtrack to Chicago. My television also plays, CDs, music and DVDs and stuff. Boy, DVDs are going out the window. You know, and I do still have a couple of 8 tracks. Nothing to play. I used to have all that equipment. Used to have, but I have movies and yeah. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, the soundtrack from the movie Holes is good too. Soundtrack from okay, Chicago. Soundtrack from West Side Story. Soundtrack from Victor Victoria. Um, I've got that movie. Yeah. And then, boy, I have all these CDs that were sent to me back when I was a member of that group that I got kicked out of, Psychic Vampires. Um, the musician that was on in the group with us sent me, God, it had to be 10, 12 of CDs of his original piano playing. And I've only opened one because almost immediately after I received them was when I got bounced out of the gang and became the pariah of the century. Um, I still have, God, they're behind me in my cabinet. I should dig those out and just put them on for ambient music. What a great idea. What a great idea. Even though he hates me, his music is really good. I don't hate him. I don't hate any of those guys. I still love all those guys, but they hate my ass. They hate my ass. Hate my ass. Boy, did I give a lot of money and gifts. Water under the bridge. Water under the bridge. It's just like letting all my favorite clothes go. Let it go. And I have to stop thinking about the sheep question. Oh, wait a minute. Your neighbor suggests sig- s- scented stocks plants. They smell at night. You know what else I love? A night blooming jasmine. I had one in growing in a pot outside my kitchen window, and we staked it up, and it was right outside the kitchen window. And in the evening, you open the windows on a summer night, and it smells like honey. It's this warm, rich, friendly scent. Yeah, night blooming jasmine smells like honey. Ah, yeah, so I'm scrolling down. Oh, Prairie Queen. Prairie Queen says to John, who is our riddle guy, she's not surprised that he got the answer right. Most say 5. Oh, good, I'm not in the minority. Oh, good. I still say it's 5 or 6. I will never go with 3. Never. I will die on that hill. I will never go with 3. I need to see an illustration. Okay, John asks Prairie Queen, what do you have if you take 2 apples from 3 apples? What do you have if you take 2 apples from, well, yeah, 2. The answer's 2. Yeah, Prairie Queen got it, I think. But I agree with her. If you take 2 apples, you have them. And John says, "Yay." Yay. Yeah, Eileen isn't a numerical person either. Thank you, Eileen. You are my heart. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do it. Give me a word puzzle, I'm on it. Give me a cryptogram, crypt quiz, any of those, crossword, I'm on it. No problem. Complete enjoyment. But throw numbers in there and I leave the room. Can't. Just and somebody once told me that it's psychological because your mother happened to be a an accounting savant. Truly, my mother was a genius. She, I remember at one time this job that she kept the books for this company she worked for. She also kept, and this was done all the time, friends, she also kept the second set of real books for the company. And the president of the company had accounts. She also kept the accounts of the family too. And she did it, and all while she was at work. She never brought work home. Well, a couple times she did, because she had this old-timey giant crank-handled adding machine, iron handle adding machine. And that sat on our dining room table when I was about 14 or 15. Yeah, so she did bring a little bit. Oh, I know, that's when she was taking her accounting course, so she could get a pay boost. LaSalle Extension University and that's why she had the adding machine at home while she was working. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, a therapist once told me, "Well, you can't do math because it's psychological. You're rebelling against your mother." I don't give a shit. Of course, um, uh, I had a Joan Crawford moment with my mother when a wire coat hanger was employed to punish me for getting a D in math when I was in junior high. So, well, hell, maybe it is psychological. Nah, no, it's a brain dysfunction. I don't do numbers. Okay, so okay, so John's next question is, how many animals of each species did Moses take on the ark? How many animals of each? He took a male and a female of each, a boy and a girl. It was a couple's party, a couple's vacation. Yeah, he took two of everything, boys and girls. Okay, wait a minute. I'm looking. Okay, Prairie Queen. Here's an illustration of little sheep. Look, Prairie Queen put little sheeps. Sheep. I have to cough. Excuse me, you probably still heard that. Okay, here's the illustration. Okay, here's two little sheeps, and here's a minus a sheep. Period. Here's a sheep minus, and then okay, here's two sheep with a sheep behind it. Okay, there's three. Okay, now here's a sheep and two sheep behind it. Okay, that is six freaking sheep, Prairie Queen. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That I stand by that. Okay, Prairie Queen, your pictures show that I'm right. Look at that's six sheep. That's six sheep. Six. See? Six. Hmm. Yeah, John says we need real sheep. We'd still have six. John Walkley says the answer is none. Moses didn't have an ark. You poop face. It was Noah. It wasn't Moses. Oh, John, you're so good. It was Noah. It wasn't Moses. Well, that teaches me to be a smarty pants, huh? Prairie Queen, right? How did I miss that too? Oh, John. Yeah, Prairie Queen, you have broken my brain. Oh, it's from last week's quiz? Okay, this one was in last week's quiz from John. Yes, Prairie Queen, you have broken my brain. I blame you. Okay, so John says, if a pencil and a fountain bed, if a pencil and a fountain pen costs $1.10 and the fountain pen costs $1 more than the pencil, how much does the pencil cost? My answer was 10 cents. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Before he answers, the left side of the brain deals with logic and maths stuff. The right brain deals with creative stuff, words, colors, and invention. Yeah, right on, John. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You give me some paste and paint and paper and yeah, I'll make something. But give me a math problem? Mm-mm. And I'm also not very logical. Yeah, Eileen is the same. Yeah, yeah. Eileen and I are word people. We're not maths people. And most people have a preference for one or the other. I am definitely a right brain. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, my right brain side is probably takes over the whole damn thing, which leaves logic, out in the cold and and real smarts. Um, okay, so people like Da Vinci had both. No, right? Right. There's a good example of somebody having command of both sides because he did everything. Designed a helicopter before they had technology to build one, a visionary. Yeah, genocide comes in. Noah had the ark, 0. Yeah, well, after you see all the answers, John. Yeah, well, genocide says 3. No, you're wrong. It's 6. 6 sheep. If there are 2 sheep in front of a sheep and 2 sheep behind a sheep, that's 6 sheep. You can see it right up there. You're only sowing. Gosh, you're only showing 3 sheep, John. Yeah, you can tell whether someone is telling lies in response to a question. Yeah, yeah. Geez, you guys, we have been on here. I'm saying we, like me and the frog in my pocket. Well, you guys have been here too. So we, okay, so, okay, so John says, nope, look at the sheep. One has 2 behind it, one has 2 in front. Yeah, that makes 6. John, look at the illustration up there. Scroll up and look at the cartoony illustration that was presented for my benefit and count. You use your thinking eyes and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, John Walkley says, yeah, about people lying. If their eyes move to their left brain, they are telling the truth. If they move to the right, they are creating an answer. Yeah. Uh, I am subscribed to uh, Jesus Enrique Rosas. He is called the body language guy, and he is a body language expert. And he analyzes the body language of lots of folks like uh, uh, Donald Trump and the royals, people, various members of the monarchy, uh, and yeah, and does a lot of body language study. And he also has a second channel called The Royal Rogue, where he does like gossip stuff. I love that too. But yeah, Jesus Enrique Rosas, the body language guy, he's wonderful, and he's kind of cute, and yeah, but he analyzes people's gestures, even what they do with their blinking and position of their head, the way they're breathing, and yeah, he's really really good. Yeah, so you guys, if you want to tell a lie, look to your left, but you can't because it's reflex, it's innate. You really can't control it. Uh, it's not like trying to fool a lie detector thing, but do you know that on lie detectors now they even have like a cushion sensor that will detect if your sphincter clutches? I guess when you lie, your sphincter clutches, puckers. Yeah, but there have been ways when people have, beat them, from what I understand. But your eyes never lie. Okay, so John says, if they look down, that is a sign of inner issues. Yeah, Prairie Queen, you do need to atone for breaking my brain. Well, you're not the first one, Prairie Queen. Just, you're at the end of a long list of things that have broken my brain. Okay, so Jonocide says, look at the sheep. See three sheep. Last sheep was two in front, and the first has two behind it. It's a plan right there. Three altogether, but no, there are fucking six sheep, John. And if there aren't six sheep, there are five. There's no way anybody will ever convince me that that is wrong because my brain is fried in the maths part and I can't handle it. Yes, I have sheep issues. I have sheep issues, serious ones. It's my own fault. John Walkley says maybe you should use camels, Prairie Queen. Don't try to muddy the water, John Walkley. Okay, Eileen says you can test your. Oh, wait a minute. I saw something about police. John Walkley says police use micro videoing to capture eye movements during questioning. Isn't that neat? Okay, now Eileen says you can test your eye movements. Try to remember your childhood phone number or the words to a song. Your eyes will settle where you're thinking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't that fascinating? Yeah. Well, you guys, I think I'm going to end this. And, I put the link out to see if anybody wanted to join me, but everybody's way too shy. And I gave no notice, which was very thoughtful of me, eh? But I'm giving you guys plenty of notice. Tell everybody if anybody wants to come uh, and join up. We used to have jolly good panels, and I stopped that for a while um, because, life. But I would just dearly love to have a little gang talking about nonsense. So I'm going to put out the ad on Wednesday. I'm going to invite everybody. Maybe I haven't heard from Maggie in a while, from Maggie of England. From what I see, she attended a wedding of someone in her family. I'm not sure who it is. There wasn't a caption, but she's been busy with family, so I don't know if Maggie would be willing to come. So I'm going to put it out there and see who wants to join us. Okay. Um, okay. So Eileen says, I will dream of herds of sheep, right? Okay. So Prairie Queen to Eileen says, two cats are in front of a cat. Oh. Maybe that, I've been kicking around an idea. I had these in fact, I had it all laid out, to do merch for the Granny show. But the grannies are dead. So now I've been sort of like meandering around thoughts thinking, what would um, a, a brand illustration be? I don't want it to be a sheep or Cool Whip. Yeah, remember the big Cool Whip thing? I God, two different neighborhoods made fun of the way I say Cool Whip or Egg White, and I still don't know why. Even the word why, Egg White, Cool Whip. I was gonna even get Cool Whip, but I don't get it. But it was a big deal, back when people were making a big deal of the way I said that word. Um, okay, Prairie Queen says, I can't count sheep. Mine hop a fence, but they sometimes add one also need to start the count over, right? Oh God, that's awful. Okay, so Eileen Ebony says Black Guy TV has merch, a red cap that says "Make asylums great again." Hmm. That sounds too Trumpy. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, red hat. Yeah, too Trumpy. I will never wear a red hat, not even for spite. That bastard. Yeah, I, I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed. I know people in other countries are highly amused by this clown. Good on you. You know, you don't have to live with it. But, yeah, and the damnedest thing that I find hard to swallow is that sometimes Trump makes sense. And I don't want to admit that. But, you know, you know, I hate that he sometimes makes sense. But the way he goes about it, with his lack of social skills, he makes it sound like he's doing I don't I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I can't talk about it. It gives me just gas. Yeah. So, yeah, genocide wants Greenland. Well, you can have it. My I knew somebody who was stationed in Thule, Greenland. God, about okay, 60 years ago, I knew somebody. He was an electro microwave technician. And yes, microwaves were being commonly used 60 years ago. And he micro, yeah, for weaponry. 60 years ago, they were studying the long range abilities of microwaves for, yes, defense and offense. Yes, 60 years ago. There's so much we don't know, you guys. There is so much we don't know, and we'll never know. We are deemed not entitled to know. But yeah, Thule, Greenland. God, I hadn't thought about that in years. His name was Harvey, and he was from Canada. That was the first Canadian I ever knew. Harvey, my next door neighbor. And his and his wife's anniversary was on the day my first daughter was born. Boy, talk about a trip down memory lane. Yeah. Okay, John Walkley says Trump is going for a third term. We will be used to him by then. I know. Okay, genocide. Yeah, politicians. Yeah, none of them are for us. None of them. None of them. There were politics people in my father's family back in Ohio. My aunt was a judge. The most narrow-minded, bigoted family. Bigoted. I'm ashamed. That's why I changed when I got divorced. When you get divorced, you can choose any last name you want. You can become anybody you want after you're divorced. The judge asks you, and what name will you go by? And I would not go back to my maiden name because I did not want to be identified with those bigots. So I chose my mom's maiden name as my new last name to proceed forward with. Felt good. Felt really good. Yeah. So, no, 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 no. Okay, so been on for an hour and a half, you guys. This is unprecedented with me coming here with nothing to say, but still filling everything with, all my old lady word salad. Thank you for being here. Um, thank you. I adore every one of you. Everybody who shows up here are such dear, sweet people, and I appreciate your support in all the ways you support me, and I'm indebted, and I'll always show up for you guys. Even if it's for boring nonsense, I will show up. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to play out with Grampy Lobster. Oh, and that's another thing. Every time, it's like every time now, I always lead off with McGruff. I always get a copyright notice. Always. Every single time. It's not a spank. It's not a strike. They're making not a big deal of it, but they're letting me know this is copyrighted. However, I always give McGruff the credit because it's right there on the screen, but they do let me know they're aware that I'm using McGruff. But, and I'm so glad I don't get in trouble because that just reminds me of Grampy, and I need that. I need to be reminded of Grampy and the good times we had with him. Okay, so you guys, Prairie Queen says, it was a great afternoon. Thank you, and take care, everybody. Thank you, you guys. Okay, Jesse wants to know what you get a copyright notice. They just let you know. They give you a little notice on your channel when you go to, to look at all your shows on your channel. You can go to that page and it will say like all the status of that particular show. And I've got copyright notices, not a strike, but a copyright notice. And it shows up there. And it's because of McGruff, and I don't care. As long as they don't really care, I'll keep playing it because I love it. Okay, you guys, thank you again for showing up. Please come back next Sunday. Bring a friend. Tell people that I want to just come out here and talk and show off with folks. So it'll be cool. It'll be a change to have other folks here. So let everybody know. Okay. So here I'm going to duck out, and you know what? I'm gonna play the crack cocaine one. Okay. Bye, you guys. I love every damn one of you. Thank you again. See ya.
Using crack and cocaine to get high, that's what you say you love. But it's really insane. You could die. What are you thinking of? 'Cause nobody's needing that crack and cocaine. There's terrible trouble behind it. And sooner or later you're burning your brain, making a mess of your mind. Just a snort or a smoke in your greed, that's all you care about. But your life is a joke, and you need someone to help you out. 'Cause nobody's needing that crack and cocaine. There's terrible trouble behind it. And sooner or later you're burning your brain, making a mess of your mind. 'Cause nobody's needing that crack and cocaine. There's terrible trouble behind it. And sooner or later you're burning your brain, making a mess of your mind. There is help available for people who have a problem with cocaine or crack addiction. Have them call 1-800-COCAINE for advice. And if someone ever offers you crack or cocaine, be smart. Just say no. 'Cause nobody's needing that crack and cocaine. There's terrible trouble behind it. And sooner or later you're burning your brain, making a mess of your mind. 'Cause nobody's needing that crack and cocaine. There's terrible trouble behind it. And sooner or later you're burning your brain, making a mess of your mind. 'Cause nobody's needing that crack and cocaine. There's terrible trouble behind it. And sooner or later you're burning your brain, making a mess of your mind.